tonight we're going to have a family healing, and thank you for joining me. About half an hour ago, I started not feeling so well, so I just wanted to let you know ahead of time if I have to jump up in the middle of the healing, just give me a few minutes. And I think I know what it's from. About 2 weeks ago, I had a box of smoothies delivered to my house, and I was out of town, so they sat outside all day, and then I brought them in and refroze them and had one for lunch. So I know that's probably not the smartest thing in the world to do, and now I'm paying for it. So just wanted to let you know if I do have to jump up, that is why. All right, so for tonight's healing, everybody's going to get a healing. You're going to get a healing, and your family's going to get a healing. I've got it broken into 5 parts, so I'm going to be moving through each part rather quickly since it's only a half hour. The first one is just generic, separate you from your family. Just start the process of the separation of the energies. Then the second part will be taking your family out of your creative space. How about that? And then the third part will be bringing healing agreements with family into present time. Fourth part is to give your family a healing. And then the last is to clear the communication line between you and your family. This is a good one. All right. I'm going to set the energy with a prayer. As we cleanse and heal the temple of the soul, may it be with the blessing of divinity, that it shine its countenance upon us and bring us peace in body, mind, and spirit. Amen. Okay, so I'm going to start with separating you from your family energy, and how this is done, if you're new to this, is I'm using a composite of everybody in the sanctuary to look at all the different energies that everybody has. And it allows me to look for something called matching pictures, which show me where everybody matches on a pain level. So then I can clear that in everybody's space all at once. So that's how this works. And I'm going to go ahead and get started with the separating you from your family energy. In general, most families keep a pretty tight leash on you. That's what I'm noticing, is that there's not a lot of space to move around outside of the family. That when I look initially, you're very close to your family. I don't mean that close like, I mean like spatially close. There's actually some fear coming out of being separate from your family. So one of the things that's coming out is family conflict. Yeah, so I want to backtrack to when I said that I saw some fear coming out. That is because we rely on our parents oftentimes to be what's called our control, the person who manages our energy. And the normal process is for you to start getting your spiritual information and be able to mature and become your own control. And so when you don't have the tools or the information for that, when you think about separating from your family, it can be scary because you don't have that information yet on how to be your own control. So I'm grounding both you and your families. There's a lot of energy of expectations in this space between you and your family. So I'm going to help you ground that. And it goes both ways. We have expectations of our parents. And truth be had, the best thing you could do would be to call those back out of their space and give them the freedom that you would like yourself. We're getting some separation. It's a big job. There are a lot of families in the sanctuary, and there's a lot of energy between you and your families. Ooh, there's a beautiful emerald green coming into your space. And like what I can hear from the composite is I need some breathing room. That's the composite of everyone in the sanctuary would like a little breathing room from their families. And then the other thing I'm going to try to clear is the pecking order. You know how families have pecking orders, and everybody's got a role in the family. I want to try to neutralize that and bring everybody back to like an equal character within the family. And then I'm working on hold on a second. I was just working on some competition coming out of that space. Well, I'll tell you what I notice is that the more of your energy that gets separated from your families, the more relaxed you become. There's a lot of tension in some of those family connections. Okay, and the last thing I'm going to do for this separating you from your family energy is separating out your information and pictures. So where I see family pictures in your space, or I should say pictures that maybe your parents put in your space or your siblings put in your space, those are going to be cleared. in general, those pictures are oftentimes of you at a younger age. I know this from my own family, like where you get talked to as a child because the picture that they're looking at you through is one of you maybe at 7 or 14 or, a younger age. So some of you may have experienced that with your parents where they talk to you as if you are younger than you actually are. Okay, we're getting some nice separation there. I'm going to fill both groups in with the big gold sun. Some of the family members don't know what to do with the new energy coming in, and I'll tell you this. When I work on other people, if I don't have their permission, if they are unhappy with the healing, they'll just go right out and bring that same energy back into their space. So it's the same watching your family members get a healing. If any of them are uncomfortable with the shift in energy, they all can bring that energy that they had in their space back again. Okay. Next, we're going to take the family out of the creative space. Okay. Family has many wants and needs in the first part of your creative process, which is where you go to create a mock-up. So what I notice is that everybody gets inundated with their family's desires for what they would like. And what I'm talking about is what they would like you to create for them. So there are a lot of wants and needs coming from family in your mock-up process. So let me clear that. And there's an emphasis on if you create something, then the family should have a share of it. So I see that in a lot of families. Like if you're going to go out and create something cool, be ready to share part of it with the family. And we're going to get to that because those are healing agreements, and we're going to get to that in a minute. Okay. The family has been grounded out of the first part of your creative process, and some really beautiful bright yellow gold came in, kind of the color of the flowers behind me, into the first part of your creative process. So I'm going to move to the second part, which is where you communicate with Supreme Being. It's kind of funny that a lot of the family members won't go near the Supreme Being space. And then some family members have opinions on what kind of spirituality or religious, I don't know what the word is, information you should have. Then there are a bunch of family members in the creative process, in that part where you talk to Supreme Being, that are stuck in your creative process, waiting for a hello, but not knowing how to get one. I'm going to do a healing for that. So I'm kind of surprised there are an awful lot of people in the second part of your creative process. Like, I can see a whole bunch of heads. They're starting to come out. Okay. I'm going to go on to the third part of your creative process, where you've sent your mock-up off, and now you need to trust in the universe that the universe is going to manifest it for you in the physical plane. There's some competition here from family. I can see some family members going after mock-ups after they've been sent out. And I can also see a lot of copying. When they start to see you creating things energetically, you may find that you will get copied. And that's, a sign of admiration, really. So since this is the quadrant where you have to trust in the universe, I'm trying to move all the family energy out of this. But I was really surprised to see that sometimes the family members go after your mock-ups. And the reason would be to either try to destroy them or to steal them. Okay. That is a nice orange coming in. And then the last quadrant of your creative process is your receiving quadrant. So let's clean that out. So there are a lot of family members lined up for receiving in your quadrant. So let's give this a grounding and move them out. This is because of the expectation that we found in the first part of your creative process, the family expectations. I can see some family members getting their energy into old mock-ups, like mock-ups that never really came to fruition, that are sitting in your receiving quadrant. And clean that out. Know that you create very differently than your parents or your siblings. So your creative energy is unique, and you want to maintain that uniqueness and not let the family energy get blended all together. Oh, we're getting a nice release now out of your receiving quadrant. That's opening up, and a lot of gray and white energy is pouring out of it. This is the energy of feeling unproductive, useless, and I think hopelessness is coming out about not getting your mock-ups in. That was a really good release. It just poured out. And what's going into that quadrant is a sparkling yellow gold, but it's got a little tint of pink in it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and fill in your creative process with a big gold sun. And fill your family in with gold sun. And then next, we're going to bring healing agreements with family into present time. Now, obviously, there are many families in the sanctuary, and I can't do individual healing agreements, but what I can do is ground them and take the energy off of them so that you might be able to see them more clearly and have a better understanding of them. So rather than try to end family agreements, because you might not want to end all of your family agreements, I'm going to ground them and take the charge off of them. There's a lot more incentive on your side of the equation for your freedom than on the family side. Like I see like almost this pulling energy looking at you compared to the composite that I have for the families. There are so many agreements. The ones that I'm looking at now have to do with agreements to remain in the family, be active in the family, be a participant in the family. And now I'm going to ground family financial agreements. And that could be one of many different things. It could be where the family has an agreement to prosper together, or the family has an agreement to be in survival together. So you might want to look at what your own family agreement is when it comes to money. I'm going to ground these. And by the way, your information works much better for you when it comes to your finances. So, in other words, like if you were trying to use your father's information or your mother's information on money, that's not really going to work. It has to come from you. It has to be your own information. There's one healing agreement that I really want to clean off. I'm done with the one for money. It's a healing agreement to support each other in the family. I want to clear the energy off of that. Okay. There's a set of healing agreements that make you, how can I say this? Healing agreements where you are expected to be lower on the totem pole, like not healing agreements where you're not supposed to supersede somebody else in the family, whether it be intellectually, work-wise, career-wise, money-wise. Those are the agreements I'm working on now. That's nice. That family, healing that brought the communication line up to a bright color. So that was really good. I'm going to fill in that part for the healing agreements with gold, and then we'll go on to giving your family a healing. Okay, what I'm seeing in the family healing is depression coming out, belligerency coming out, I guess I would call it conflict within the family members. If you could see what I see, you would see how much gossip goes on in families. It's really amazing. There's a lot of talk about everybody else. Also, your family members have a lot of invalidation in their space, so that's going to be grounded out. And I'm going to ask Supreme Being to give everybody, you included, and your families, a self-worth healing. And the first part of this is a lot of energy is being pulled out. And I can hear Supreme Being telling you how important you are. Oh, that's so beautiful. The reason you're important is because you have your own unique perspective on life and living. And Supreme Being says everybody matters. Well, I guess it's time. I put it off long enough. It's time to clear the beings. So let me work on the beings in the family. Okay. It just occurred to me that I wanted to work on repairing relationships with your family. Yeah, this is kind of segueing into the last part, which is clear communication line to the family. You know, I got to say, I am pretty impressed because the communication lines between you and your family are really clear and gold. So the rest of the healing helped quite a bit to clear up your communication line. I'm just going to take another look at it, make sure that it's good. I like that. Yeah, that went really well. Okay, I'm going to take a step back and just look in general at you and your family. The next step would be to raise the energy vibration, just a half step. Nothing that's going to overload anybody, but raise the vibration a half step. Oh, it's really cool. Some of the family members, your family members, are thanking me. That they can feel their gratitude and hear it because they like getting a healing. All right. That looks really good. And your relationships in your families are much more in present time now. So let me fill everybody in with big gold sun. And your families can have a lot of